Are you going on a trip to Lisbon and don't know where to stay? Let me tell you right off the bat. You should stay in one of the 6 neighborhoods that I'm about to tell you. Baixa, Chiado, Alfama, Castro Sodré, and Belém. Especially if this is your first time visiting Lisbon. And if you want to know why that is, please hit subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It helps me answer questions like that and create videos like this. Meanwhile, you will get travel tips, suggestions, and inspirations every week. Now that you're subscribed, let's get started. Without a doubt, the most central and vibrant neighborhood to stay in Lisbon is Baixa. Baixa is a neighborhood that stretches from the Commerce Square and the riverfront, where a lot of the major travel attractions are, all the way up to the Radio Square. Staying in this area means you have everything you need within walking distance. You will have plenty of options for food and shopping and sightseeing, and you will have an easy access to literally everywhere, even beyond Lisbon, like Sintra. To give you an idea, this is what your day will look like if you stay in this area. You can start the day with a shot of ginginha, which is Portuguese liquor, right here. Walk down the busy Radio Square like locals. Walk a little bit more, take photos in front of the Santa Justa lift, a photogenic elevator that was built for the hilly Lisbon more than 100 years ago. Stroll down the bustling main street, the Rua Augusta, that is filled with tourist-focused shops, outdoor dining, and cafes. Finally, when you arrive at the Commerce Square, major sightseeing begins. And you can do all of these activities pretty much on foot just in the morning. Baixa is also surrounded by Alfama and Chiado districts, both of which are the other prime neighborhoods for sightseeing. In other words, you can't really go wrong with Baixa, except there's one downside, which is that it can be a little bit of a hassle sometimes. You know, the crowds and the busy vibe don't sit well with certain people. So here's what I suggest. If you are going to Lisbon for a short period of time, like less than 2 days, and if you are a solo traveler, I suggest you should stay in Baixa because it will ensure you have a safe and convenient trip. On the other hand, if you are a couple and going to Lisbon for several days on your vacation, Baixa might not be your first choice. But don't worry, I know just the right neighborhood for you. Chiado. And I can tell you this with confidence because I actually stay in Chiado for my trip to Lisbon, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Chiado is the so-called bohemian part of Lisbon. Here you can find quaint streets filled with small cafes, restaurants, and interesting shops. At the same time, you're so close to Baixa district and all the major attractions are within your reach, such as Carmel Convent and Santa Justa lift. Not to mention that you will have the best view of Lisbon in Chiado. People say Castle George viewpoint has the best view of Lisbon, and I don't disagree with that. However, if you ask me what was the most memorable view of Lisbon, I have to say it's the view right here. I'm standing right next to the Carmel Convent, which is the historical ruins of a medieval church that was destroyed by the earthquake in 1755. Behind me in the distance is the St. George Castle on top of a hill, and the Santa Justa lift can be seen on the right. You can also look down at the lower Baixa streets. This spot has everything that is quintessentially Lisbon, like the hills, the earthquake, the history, and the revival of the city. And I was lucky because I stayed just a couple of blocks from here. So I stayed in an Airbnb apartment in Chiado, and a lot of people asked me about the Airbnb. So here's a quick tour to the apartment to give you an idea. It was a 1-bedroom apartment that came with a spacious living room, full kitchen, bathroom, and a small balcony. We paid around $150 per night, including all the fees. Considering the great location and the space we had, I think we got a good deal. I especially enjoyed having the balcony, which is quite typical for apartments in Lisbon. I felt like I was experiencing the locals' way of living. It was nice to take a break from sightseeing, relax and recharge sitting on this balcony. If you're interested in this place, I've linked their website down below. Although Chiado is my top choice, there is one downside: the hills. If you stay in Chiado, you can't avoid walking up and down hills. Although I didn't mind the hills at all personally, because it's a great workout, I know for some people this could be a deal breaker. Also, it's not just that some streets are steep, but all streets are quite slippery and narrow. So I strongly recommend you to bring comfortable shoes with a good grip if you're coming to Lisbon. Other than the hills, I think Chiado is absolutely a great neighborhood to stay in, and I can't recommend it enough. Next neighborhood I recommend is Alfama district. This neighborhood is perfect for people who want to experience living in the most authentic and oldest residential town in Lisbon. This town has been a home for fishermen and working class people for a long time, and you must have seen this cute yellow tram that has become the icon of Lisbon. This famous number 28 tram also winds through Alfama district. And the St. George Castle, where you can have the great view of Lisbon, is also in this district. And have you heard of Fado? It's a traditional Portuguese folk music, usually with a sad and melancholy tune. It was also formed in Alfama. Alfama is a charming neighborhood where you can get lost in the maze-like streets. So if you're into mingling with the locals, excited about discovering the hidden path, and willing to try something new that's out of your comfort zone, I think Alfama will be the most attractive neighborhood for you. Speaking of attractive neighborhoods, if you're going to Lisbon to stay out late to party, like for example, if this is your bachelorette or bachelor party, you probably want to stay in Cais do Sodré. Known as Pink Street, the former red light district in this neighborhood is now a great neighborhood for nightlife. Old brothels have been replaced with new bars and restaurants. And Time Out Market Lisbon opened in 2014 in a former wholesale marketplace in this neighborhood, now attracting a lot of people. Also, its proximity to the Tagus River provides a nice place to walk and an easy access to ferries. If you have time, I recommend you to take the ferry to Almada, a city right across Lisbon on the other side of the Tagus River. Here, you can visit the Sanctuary of Christ the King and Ponto Final, a popular seafood restaurant with a view of Lisbon. On the other hand, if you are going to Lisbon on a business trip, and if you're planning to travel outside Lisbon by car, you should consider staying near the park Eduardo VII. This area is full of high-rise office buildings and hotels that are suitable for business trips, offering breakfast and good rates. You also have this nice tree-lined street full of luxury stores to stroll around, and fine restaurants to dine out. Also, if you're planning to drive out of Lisbon, you will find many car rental companies in this neighborhood. Last but not least, if you're traveling with your family and children, or if your main focus is seeing historic sites and museums, I recommend you stay in the Belém area. Located at the mouth of Tagus River, it's a little far from the Baixa area, but easily accessible to major attractions by inexpensive 10-minute Uber ride or public transportations. Also, this town alone has plenty of attractions for you to visit, including some of the most historical and significant attractions, such as Belém Tower, Monument to the Discoveries, Jerônimos Monastery, Pastiche de Belém, and National Coach Museum. Aside from having a number of great museums, Belém also offers spacious public parks and the beautiful waterfront. So which neighborhood do you see yourself staying in? Please let me know in the comments below. A quick note, I'm also an owner of Shop Nove, and I curate everyday essentials like that. If you're interested in learning more about it, please go to my website shopwithnove.com and get 10% off using the code New Yorker Juhi. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, please hit subscribe. You've made this far, you might as well get the perks of being a subscriber. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Thursday.